Recently, I was asked to stand up and give a tell-all talk about working motherhood at an industry conference in my hometown. My first answer was a resounding no. I felt unqualified. I am, in fact, a mother of 2 kids, and I was, in fact, working at the VP level at a digital marketing agency. But so-called imposter syndrome can even make you forget facts sometimes. I felt afraid. I would be surrounded by peers in my industry, many of whom I would know personally. Instead of comforting me, this terrified me. I felt vulnerable. I figured if I told the truth about how hard it was for me to be a marketing executive and a mother, I would never work in my town or my industry again. And then I did it anyway. I did it because I realized other moms must feel as scared as I did, and someone had to broach the topic. Inspired by A Short History of Silence by Rebecca Solnit, I realized if more of us didn't speak up, working motherhood would continue to be idealized and impossible, while working mothers themselves completely overwhelmed and overlooked. As the session grew closer, I talked to a number of other working moms to see if my own story was maybe particularly hard or particularly stressful. I thought it was my kids or my husband or even my boss or company that made my situation so unmanageable. What I heard in focus groups and interviews and lunch conversations was that we all felt like somehow we weren't able to get working motherhood quite right. Even women in the same company, who all knew each other and knew about each other's kids and families, confessed that while they vented to each other regularly, they didn't really open up about their underlying fears and concerns. So, emboldened by the idea that I was standing up for working moms everywhere, I stood in front of a crowded room and told the truth about my life as a working mom. That it was hard. That I was scared. That I didn't know what I was doing most of the time. That my life moved so fast sometimes, I felt like I was on a treadmill and nobody would get hurt as long as I didn't fall off. I told the truth about the toll on my marriage, the financial strain we faced even in a dual-earner household, and the way all the stress impacted my health. I think I said the F word about 100 times. It felt very raw and real and wickedly scary. I opened myself up for questions at the end, and there were so many hands in the air I didn't know where to start. Women asked me tough questions, such as, where did you find the time to read a book about this topic? Eventually, moms within the audience began to answer each other while I just stood at the front, quiet and a little shaky. Even the few men in the room chimed in. The conference organizers had to kick us out of the room, and I realized that although many of us had great circles of influence in our careers and great friends in our personal lives, everyone needed just one woman to stand at the front of the room and say, I do not have this figured out. We needed more than just a vent session, more than a funny, made-for-the-water-cooler anecdote about a forgotten lunch or a miscommunication with the nanny. We needed to hear the real story. More importantly, we needed to hear it in a professional setting. The sad feelings of missing out on our kids' pivotal moments, the threatened feelings of watching others' career moves, the incredible feeling of inadequacy and guilt that permeated everything. We also needed some creative ways to process our stress and start to take action, because obviously drinking more wine and making more jokes about it wasn't solving the issues. As the session ended, I realized it felt really good, really freeing to have told the truth. My wish is that it will feel just as good for you and that this book will help.